Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Irish Uncensored. I'm here with, as always, with my buddy Grant. How you doing, man?
Ready for the game. Another late one.
I know. Why are we playing so late? We used to always play at like 2:30, 3:30.
I know it's just tough to wait all day long to watch.
Yeah, it is a long wait, but we'll get into the game. We're just going to talk about what we expect out of Notre Dame, North Carolina, and maybe where our seasons are headed after this game. So we'll be right back after this. And make sure you go check us out on Facebook for our Irish Uncensored group. We've got a lot of cool posts in there. We do some polls and also like and subscribe. And we are also on Twitter. So you can go check us out on Twitter. We retweet a few things when we get new recruits, random stuff like that. Just fun Notre Dame information, and you can help connect with the community. But let's get into the game. So what do we expect out of North Carolina? What do you expect?
It's hard to say, really. I think they have talent. Like, I think they have guys that make plays. I also think that they make a lot of mistakes. Sam Howell is probably the best quarterback that will play all year. I know Ritter's good, but I think Howell's better. Just kind of looking at some just general stats. Completing 61% of his passes. He's rushed for almost 500 yards in half a season. What
That's
more
impressive.
what more are you looking for out of your quarterback? I think, when we've beaten them in the past, it's been more of like a concern. Like last year, they were more of like focused. They had 2,000-yard rushers as running backs. They had a couple solid receivers, and it was like more you could try to just focus on shutting down the run game. He wasn't really keeping the ball. Now he's keeping the ball. And you know what we've struggled with. Virginia Tech. So just imagine like Virginia Tech's quarterback, maybe not quite as fast. Like I don't think he's like that, but he can throw a hell of a lot better. So those balls that like they would miss or those receivers that they wouldn't see, I think Howell could see those guys. And we were playing without Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, the one thing that I think the X factor is going to be their O line, because their O line is pretty bad. They've given up. I don't remember exactly how many. I want to say it was 27 sacks, like more than us. And think about how terrible we've been this year. They've given up a ton. So I think if they're going to be passing, we're going to kill them.
Yeah.
And even though he's a good quarterback, he might make some plays. Our D line is too good. Put 4 down every time, and we might have 5 sacks this game.
I think so. And what's kind of surprising is that their O line has got as far as experience, like game wise, but guys that have been in a program for 3 years, like at a minimum. They're not like us where they're rolling out their fourth left tackle who's a true freshman, and they're not doing those things. And for them to struggle how they have is a little surprising. I thought they'd put it more together this year because if you remember earlier in the season, they were ranked pretty high. And they just kind of shit the bed. There's no other way to put it. They shit the bed.
They really shit the bed.
Yeah, and I just think they're going to make plays. I'm very curious to see their offense versus our defense minus Kyle Hamilton. They've had a whole week to prepare to not face Kyle Hamilton, and we've had a whole week to prepare to not have Kyle Hamilton. So I'm curious to see what kind of adjustments we make. And one of them may just be more. I think I saw on Twitter today, KJ Wallace is going to be rotating in. I think Hamilton's been working with Watt, Xavier Watts at wide receiver, who was former wide receiver, working with him all week. Hopefully, we come with a plan to just kind of contain their pass game, because they have no Drake London, but they have what's his name? I'm spacing on his name. Let me see.
It's
Downs. That's what it is. Down 837 yards and 60 receptions with 8 touchdowns. That's not Drake London, but damn.
Yeah,
that's impressive. And
yeah, he's a player. it's going to be an interesting game. They're an interesting team too. Like they beat Miami by 3, and then they lost to Florida State by double digits. Then they shit on Duke, and then they lost to Georgia Tech by 23. I don't know. Is Georgia Tech that good?
I don't think they are. I just think this is what this team, what they are, is like they're just up and down. They're up and down. Like if North Carolina throws us their best game, it may be tough, depending on what our offense does. If our offense does what they're capable of doing, like if we do what we did last week and we spread it out and we get in some tempo type situations, I think we'll be fine. But I don't know if North Carolina throws their offensive A game at us. And we don't play our best defensively. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think it could be a close game, but I just don't expect it. I think the biggest thing is their shit O line. I really think we are about to destroy them on the O line.
Our D line is, I mean, it's godly. Like we have great studs on our D line, and they kind of can make up for a lot. So I'm hoping that they do, and I think they will ultimately.
Yeah, I do too.
You know what I mean? When we play guys that can get loose, that are at wide receiver or quarterback, it's always
scary.
Tough. Yeah, it's always tough. A big play. It only takes one play. That's the thing. USC was one play away from being, tied up with us, or at least a point down. So, I mean, North Carolina could do the same things. I don't think that they're as good, but they have guys that can make plays on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Kyron, getting him going last week is going to be great going into this week because we haven't been running the ball well. But I'm hoping this is the new half of the season where we're going to be a completely new team.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
And I think Foskey's going to have double-digit sacks again for back-to-back weeks. I fully expect that.
I'm looking for Cam Hart. I'm hoping Cam Hart has a big game, or they completely avoid him and he takes away a whole side of the field. One of the two. Offensively, man, I'd love to see them continue to build with Lorenzo Styles. Like I would love to see them continue to build, because the bottom line is there's like 4 or 5 guys that they should be focused on more than Lorenzo Styles if they're all in the game. Like he should be drawing the least solid coverage guy that North Carolina puts on the field in that 11. And I think that he could just straight up torch some people.
I wonder if we'll see Lindsey more this game.
Yeah, he's been quiet. I mean,
yeah, I don't even think he was in a ton last game because, like you said, Styles was and other people.
I think kind of just seeing that. I mean, okay, Lindsey's a senior. He's not one-dimensional. Like as far as like all he can do is run deep. I don't think he's one-dimensional, but he hasn't proven that he's a whole lot more than that this season. Like you catch a jet sweep here or there, and then you run a deep route. I mean, he's pretty much had like one amazing catch that was like thrown up to him in the end zone that he caught. Was it against Cincinnati? I think it was against Cincinnati. And it was a great catch and it was a great throw. But at the same time, when you're a senior and you've been in a system for 4 years, you expect more. Like I expect more from you as far as making plays. You can only do so much when Cohn's missing him on deep balls, which we saw a ton in the beginning of the season. So it's not all Braden's fault, and I don't think that it's not like he's out there dropping the ball. When he gets the ball thrown to him and it's actually where it should be, I think he makes the plays.
Yeah, he's got 16 receptions on the year, which is just 3 more than Tyree, and Tyree feels like he's barely played.
Yeah, and Tyree's missed a game.
Yeah.
Actually, has he missed a game or 2 games?
I know he missed 1.
Well, he started playing in the 1, but they pulled him because of his turf toe, and then he missed the following week. So maybe a game and a half, if I'm being modest. And you're like, oh, he only has 3 more catches than Tyree. That's crazy. I did not know that.
Yep.
I mean, I know Tyree's good and we want him to have the ball, but shit.
Yeah, it seems like he's not touched the field and definitely not caught too many passes, but what's his Kevin Austin's on the field all the time, and so is Lindsey was on the field all the time.
Yeah, it's been different, but I mean, we have weapons, man. Like we have guys, we have some great ballers, man. If we get them on the field and put them in the right positions, they're all going to succeed. I think the tempo just helps Cone so much. We've been down on Cone like a lot this year, not necessarily because of him like being bad, but just that he didn't have the skill set and the offense we're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole
Yep.
and trying to make that work. But when we do what Cone can, like last week, we had so many long drives. Like even when we didn't score, we had long drives. We barely punted. And that's kind of what I expected this offense to be from the beginning this year. I kind of expected us to spread it out, throw it around. I mean, I didn't expect our O-line to be as shit as it has been up until the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But this might be it. Like we might finally get I think we're capable of an A game now. Let's put it that way. I think we're capable of an A game.
We're at least taking steps in the right direction because we definitely were not capable of that even a month ago.
No, not even close. Not even close.
What really sucks is that we talked about this before, if we find this A game and find our footing here in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks by the end of the season, that's great. Like that's what teams do over a season, especially a college team. But damn, it would have been nice to have that against Cincinnati, and
oh my god,
we would have smacked them. Just really disappointing. But I mean, either way, we can still win out and see what happens. But
it's crazy because Brian Kelly has kind of changed what, like in our lifetime, which we're both roughly almost 30 years old. So we haven't even seen a Notre Dame title. The teams that we can remember, we remember a lot of mediocrity. Like I remember when Carlisle Willingham got there, not Carlisle Willingham, who am I saying? The quarterback, Carlisle
Holiday.
Yes. The first guy that I remember back in the day was Carlisle Holiday, and them going like 7-0. I think they lost, and there were a few teams that kind of scratched on the brink of successes, like Brady Quinn always seemed to be on a 1 or 2 loss team to just keep us out. Jimmy Clausen. I mean,
his tenure really ended up being not great, but I always thought he was great, honestly.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
And then the Weiss era where we had Floyd and Golden Tate and Clausen. I mean, we've had some exceptional players, but Brian Kelly has really redefined what success looks like for this program. I mean, Notre Dame fans have always been, rah, we need to be playing for natties. That's what we need to do. But Brian Kelly is the one putting us in play. Since 2012, we played for a natty. We got smoked. We have some hiatus there where we did get some mediocrity. But the last 4 years, I mean, what more could you ask for? There are a lot of college programs that would be begging to have had what we've had the last 4 years.
Yeah, I completely agree. We've been in the best position. I mean, not only in the time we've been alive, but you could almost say Notre Dame history besides like Newt Rockne.
Yeah. I mean, he's the winningest coach in Notre Dame history.
Yeah. I mean, when Brian Kelly came in, did you expect him to be here this long? If you would have told me we're going to have a chance at 3 national titles and he's going to have the most wins in Notre Dame history in like a decade, I'd be like, hey, I'll take that. Like, even no promise of a natty, but at least if you're competing for it, you have a chance. So that's all that really matters. I think Grant's frozen, but he's back.
Yeah, no, I heard what you said, but but you're exactly right. Like if you would have asked if that was acceptable at that time when we hired him, everyone would have been like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, let's take that and run with it. But I mean, I think.
Oh, Grant's lagging out again.
So what are your predictions for this game as far as like win, lose?
Okay, so I think we're going to score a lot. I think we're finally finding our footing, like I said earlier, and now that we can run the ball a little bit more.
Can you hear me?
I think I think it's going to be about 42-17. I really do think we're going to smoke them, but I don't know. It's a tough one this week. I just don't think they're going to get going. And I think that's the key to the whole game, because if they get going, they're, like you said, they have a high ceiling and a really potentially solid offense. But if we stop them from getting going, if they can't even like get the ball back there because we're just in the backfield the whole game, then it's going to be a problem for them. And if we're turning the ball over on their side of the field, we're going to be scoring. So, what do you think?
I'm thinking. I mean, I think we're going to win by 14 points at least. I've wanted to call a 40 ball from our offense for so long and haven't been able to. But I think I'm going to call it this game. I think we're going to go 42 to, let's say, 21, 24. Let's go 24, 42, 24. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop us if we're in rhythm and if we're doing what we're supposed to.
They've given up some big, like they gave up 42 to Miami, 35 to Florida State, 45 to Georgia Tech, and 39 to Virginia. I think that alone, like we have a better offense than them.
Yes.
We've got to be scoring more than that.
Absolutely.
So,
That I'll say 42, but our offense has underachieved all
oh,
year.
for sure. I definitely am not just banking it, taking it home and saying it's game over, but if we play how we've been improving, we should handle them at least on the offensive end of the ball. And I still have faith in our defense, even without Kyle Hamilton, even though that's like a terrible loss. Like no way around it.
Yeah, I mean, on the bright side, like we've played North Carolina before without Kyle Hamilton when he got ejected.
Yeah.
Brown and Griffith both have experience back there without him, and I mean, Brown's been playing. I mean, last game might have been the best game of DJ Brown's career at Notre Dame. So, I mean, he's experienced. There's experience there. Like Notre Dame is going to have like this weirdly experienced team for the next few years, regardless of who leaves or who comes, because we've had so many guys come in and have to contribute. Like you think about what the O line is going to be in the future, and it's going to be like 7 or 8 guys with a couple starts under their belt, like just
Yeah.
randomly. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we've had to just puzzle pieces together. I mean, if we get down this road at the end of the season and we're 11-1 heading into a bowl game, is this Brian Kelly's best coach job that he's done?
No.
No, I don't know that you can say that.
Absolutely not. Because if we improve to the point where we're talking about improving to, you could say it's one of his worst.
But
Because
where we were,
we barely squeaked out of shit. Like just because we got the win does not mean it's acceptable. We
yeah,
played 6 bad games essentially and came out 5-1. And we
yeah,
really could have been 6-0, and we really could have been 1-5.
yeah,
Like it was kind of a flip of the coin how we won some of those games. Like a lot of people judge like a whole season based on record. There's so much more to this season already than just our record. I'm
yeah.
really happy with what we have, but we have not been a good team.
No, we could easily be sitting with 2 or 3 wins right now and just talking about how we need to
Yeah.
move on. Like,
The only difference of us like talking about how bad we are is just squeaking out late touchdowns a couple times. And I don't even know if they're pretty. Like we
no, I
just
mean,
pulled it
fucking,
out, and thank God we did, but I'm happy about it. I just don't think people realize when it comes to winning and losing, winning is good. You need to win when you play bad, but you still have to like look at it. It's more than just a win.
yeah, I mean, you're talking about Dorr having 2 game-winning field goals in a last-minute drive against Toledo. Like, we are that close to
Yep.
having 4 losses this year. Like, that is crazy to think about. That is crazy to think about.
Yeah, we
I
we could have
mean,
lost to Florida State. We could have lost to Wisconsin. We could have lost to Purdue. If Purdue put together 2 drives in the first half, we lose to them. That's it. That's all they needed to do. Because
yeah,
we handed them the ball in perfect field position and everything. But luckily
yeah, no,
they didn't
you're
have it
right.
yet.
And I mean, yep, it is what it is. Luckily, we're where we are today, and
Yep.
I'm thinking we're going to keep it rolling against North Carolina, and hopefully roll into 7-1 and continue to build on our O line playing better and us finally figuring out how to use Jack Cohn and all that.
Yep. We only have been talking about it since like the second quarter of game 1.
Yeah,
But hey, whatever. We're figuring it out. At least we're figuring it out at some point and not having a terrible like sack season the whole season. Let's just please keep getting better.
yes, please.
Do you have any final thoughts or anything? Or
Uh, Final thoughts. Um, look for continued growth in the O line. I think we're going to run for we're going to have a pretty solid game on the ground against North Carolina. And look for the defense to be surprisingly good without Kyle Hamilton. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what needs to happen.
yep, I agree. I
What
I
about
think
you?
we'll win, and I think we're gonna show the Notre Dame team that I've been expecting since really game 1. So that's what I'm looking for this game, to finally see some consistency between games. Because if we play good this game, this will be our first back-to-back game of all year that I'm like
We looked
satisfied.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, because last game was a completely different feeling than I've had all year.
USC was very strangely like under control. Like I never like was nervous.
Yeah, it
It
was,
felt
and it
like
was. We didn't even blow them out either.
no, I just felt like we were in control the whole game. Like watching Jack Cohn move the offense up and down the field, like I was just like, we got this. Like I
Yeah,
was more worried about the defense than I was the offense that game. That's what's crazy.
yeah, because of London.
Yeah, because Drake London was shitting on us.
Yeah. But I think that's where we'll wrap it up today. Make sure you go check us out on Twitter. Hit that subscribe button. And if you like this, hit that like button and go check out the Irish Uncensored Facebook page. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this and come back for our post game where we talk about if we were right or not. Hopefully right.
Hopefully, right.
But until then, go Irish.
Go Irish.